Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our GoodWe Africa Pro Series webinar. For today's presentation, we'll have Patrick Osiemo, our pre-sales engineer, in charge of pre-sales topics, and myself, Oloch Alves, technical service engineer in charge of after-sales topics. For the structure of this webinar, we'll have a quick short introduction on GoodWe. Then Patrick will proceed in showing us the ESG tool and the links from you. Then finally, we'll have a Q&A session. If you have any question during the webinar, please feel free to use the Q&A tab and we'll be able to answer it in the background. GoodWe is a smart solution provider and a top inverter manufacturer, with its vision being driving the world's smart energy future, and it's determined to be the main driving force in the global energy transition. It has installed 4 million units, which generates 78,000 gigawatt hours of power annually and saves 7,800 million tons of CO2 annually. Our company was established in 2010, and it has had several milestones throughout the years, which include establishing our R&D centers, establishing our GoodWe Solar Academy for training purposes. We also established headquarters in Germany and in Benelux. We were listed in the Shanghai Stock Exchange, and in 2022, we did a global rebranding. GoodWe has over 4,600 employees, in which we have over 800 dedicated R&D staff and over 150 overseas employees, so that we can be able to serve the local markets. GoodWe has been growing steadily, as you can see from our sales revenue. And last year, we finished at $1.1 billion in terms of our global sales revenue. For our production capacity, we have a production capacity of 30 gigawatts for solar inverters and 2.1 gigawatt hours for battery capacity. We have a global installation of 52 gigawatts in over 100 countries, and this spans in our energy storage, residential, utility, and also our C&I business. In our region, we have clients who serve as our distributors. These include Kranik, IBC Solar, Rubicon, we have Jubilee Bros, Flora Exide, Utility, Nabico, Northlands Power, Solink, PP Engineering, Apex Hub, and Global, Capri Solar, Lil Energy, and Enigma. Just a snippet of our GoodWe product portfolio. We have residential inverters in the sizes of 700 watts to 20 kilowatts, energy storage inverters between 3 to 100 kilowatts. We have lithium batteries, both low voltage and high voltage. We have commercial and industrial inverters between 25 to 120 kilowatts. We have built-in integrated photovoltaics. We have utility scale inverters up to 350 kilowatts. And we also have a free monitoring platform, the Smart Energy Management System. This is just a photo of our portfolio. You can see we have the string inverters, the batteries, the EV charger, and also the BAPV. Just a snippet of the ESG tool. It ranges between 3 to 6 kilowatts, and it works with our low voltage battery, which Patrick will explain further. It also has 2 MPPTs, and it integrates safety features such as SPD, and it has the dry contact both for load and genset control. And you can be able to parallel up 3 pieces in the master-slave relationship. I will also be introducing our new product, the ES Unique, which is a slightly larger version of the ESG2 in the size of 8, 10, and 12 kilowatts. It's a single-phase hybrid inverter. Some unique features of this new product is that it will have a separate diesel generator input port, therefore you can connect to your genset directly. It supports 240 amps battery current, You can connect your CT directly. It is compatible with our new battery, the Lynx A series, and you can support on-grid and off-grid parallelly up to 16 units. For our low voltage, which Patrick will also explain further, we have our Lynx A, which is also new, which is it's rank mounted and it's a 5 kilowatt hour battery. You can parallel it up to 30 pieces, which gives you 150 kilowatt hours. We have our Lynx Home U series. Today we will take you through the ESG2 unboxing. Unboxing. Sorry about that. We have our Lynx Home U series. We have our Lynx Home U series, which is a 5.4 kilowatt hour and can parallel up to 32 kilowatt hours. These batteries allow module auto recognition, module monitoring and upgrade, and they're safe and reliable. At this stage, I'd like to welcome Patrick so that he can continue with the discussion on the ESG2 and Lynx Home U.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you for joining the GoodWe Pro Africa webinar session for the ESG2 with the Lynx Home U residential solution. So I will be sharing my screen. Yes. Just a second. The ESG2 Lynx Home U solution is actually a single-phase residential hybrid solution, and it's actually the capacity or the specifications for this solution ranges from 3 kVA or 3 kilowatt all the way to 6 kVA or 6 kilowatts. Our focus will start with the hybrid inverter. It's a GoodWe hybrid inverter called the ESG2. And yes, and at a glance, you can see that the ESG2 has various unique benefits. And yes, from 3 kilowatt all the way to 6 kilowatt, you get 2 MPPTs. This increases the flexibility of doing your string designs. And it is a hybrid inverter with a UPS switching level time, which is less than 10 milliseconds, with a high backup load capability. We'll come to see that later in the technical specification of the technical data sheet of the inverter itself. ESG2 is a low voltage, uses a low voltage battery system. So 48 volts lithium ions are the ones compatible with the ESG2. We'll come look at the various compatible lithium ion batteries. And yes, it has a self-adaptive BMS with a high charge discharge current up to 120 amps, compatible with many third-party lithium-ion batteries. The ESG2 has a very high efficiency, 97.6% efficiency, and with allowing you to do a DC oversizing or a DC overloading of up to 50%. And this actually increases your energy yields. In turn, you get a higher energy yields for the installed solar PV system. ESG2 is an all-in-one box solution, comes with various accessories, various components. It comes to note later, the upcoming slides that we also have. We do offer smart meter and CT wired, pre-wired. To see this later in the contents during the unboxing. ESG2 is reliable. Reliability ranges from various features of the inverter. Just to highlight that it is IP65 rated. This gives you the capability of doing both indoor installations and outdoor installations as well. The working temperatures to accommodate the indoor and outdoor conditions, and this actually was designed in the inverter to work with a very wide operating temperature ranges from negative 25 degrees Celsius all the way to 60 degrees Celsius. And in this operating mode, the inverter itself is actually fanless, and this gives you a quiet operation for in terms of the PV generation. ESG2 is mentioned that it is an all-in-one solution. You can see that there are many accessories that come with the purchase of the ESG2 inverters. You can see we have a mounting plate, we have BMS cable, we have a smart meter cable, we have various lugs for terminating your cables. And just to show that it is an all-in-one solution, we do offer smart meter, and it's actually already pre-wired with clamped CTs, and this allows you to do the zero export control. Apart from that, it comes with the operation manual and other accessories just to help you or ease the BOQ, the designs and purchase of installation equipment. In terms of interactions with the ESG2 inverter, from the bottom side, that's where you'll get the terminal points. You get the DC terminals, you get the communication modules for mounting the communication module of the inverter, communication module used for commissioning and generation monitoring, terminals for communication, for paralleling and communication with the BMS battery systems. We have two ports, PV ports with two MPPTs, and we also give a DC switch for disconnecting the PV side of the inverter. Apart from that, the inverter comes with already segregated AC terminals for your critical loads and for the non-critical loads. We call this the backup port and the on-grid port, AC ports. And to give you a snapshot of the status of the ESG2, on the front side, you get the LEDs, and these actually give you the state of the inverter in terms of the battery state, operation, communication, and connection to the GoodWe smart energy monitoring system. At the back side, mention that it is a quiet and panelless design. At the back side, you get to only see the heatsink and the mounting plate used for mounting the inverter. It is a wall-mounted inverter in this case. In terms of system diagram, and this actually describes the installation, see an SLD installation, the hybrid residential, taking note that we are focusing on ESG2 and Linsomnio. The ESG2 is actually a hybrid inverter, as I mentioned before. So in this sense, you get to connect the PV strings to the inverter. You get to connect the battery power cables and communication cable to the inverter. And on the output side, you get to terminate already segregated loads. We have two AC ports for the backup loads. These are critical loads. And on the AC side, we also have the on-grid side as the on-grid port. You connect the non-critical loads. And given that it actually can be linked to the grid, we have purchase of the ESG2 comes already smart meter within the package, smart meter already pre-wired with CTs. This allows you to do zero export monitoring and load monitoring, as well as just generating and monitoring the generation and consumption of power through the grid incoming lines. In terms of data sheets or power specs, this is a snapshot of the data sheet that you will be getting as you purchase. So it's actually free within the GoodWe portal server. And we see that it is a generation 2 version of ES series. And in this sense, we have a very high charge discharge current up to 120 amps. And charging and discharge power is actually the nominal rating of the inverter itself. On the PV side, you get to oversize your PV to 1.5 times the nominal rating of the inverter. And the MPPT is actually of high rating, so up to 16 amps per MPPT. That's actually gives you leeway to incorporate the 182 mm wafer size modules. At the grid output, you can get a power generation of up to 10 kilowatts. That is when the grid is available. And if you're operating on backup mode, the inverter itself can still give you a maximum of 10 kilowatt of power, but then you'll be limited to 10 seconds just to support the inrush load. Then the inverter will resort back to its nominal power. The inverter has a very high efficiency. I mentioned this before, up to 97.6% efficiency. And we do take note of the safety features of the installation safety of your PV modules. And thus the inverter comes ready with integrated type 2 SPD surge protection devices for the DC side. And on the AC side, you get already integrated type 3 SPDs. We allow, or the inverter communicates with various communication modes or ways through Wi-Fi, through LAN, through 4G. All these are just to increase the flexibility in which you can commission or monitor the inverter itself. It's actually quite lightweight and compact, so 21 kg should not be that heavy for most of the installers. So yes, it's quite easy to do a wall mounting installation. In terms of scalability, ESG2 allows the expansion of the installed system in terms in the topology of master-slave relationship. In this sense, you can parallel 3 pieces of the ESG2 to make, let's say, on the higher side, 18 kilowatts, the master slave, and this you'll be utilizing the EasyLink communication module when you're paralleling the system. And when you use 3 pieces of the ESG2, you'll utilize the UPS switching level time. And mind you, that's not the end of it. You can still parallel up to 16 pieces of the ESG2, but then the operation mode of this inverter will be reduced to EPS switching level. All of these working in master slave mode with the master inverter being connected to the smart meter to ensure the zero export limitation and load monitoring at the grid incomer. At the same time, during this scalability or the paralleling capability of the inverter, in case any of the slave inverters actually gets to a fault, then automatically the faulty slave will get bypassed and the rest of the inverters will continue operating seamlessly. Next, we have the smart load integration in the ESG2. In this sense, in case you're having, you've backed up your whole home or house or residence, but you still have large consuming loads that consume too much power, and then you can categorize them as not such critical, loads of less importance. Then these loads of less importance, the ESG2 can control the ATS power that's actually controlling the power to these such load consuming, large consuming loads. And you have the chance of controlling this load by 3 modes. Either you can switch them on manually, or you can time the operation of such big loads so that you limit the times in which these loads actually draw power from the inverter, the battery, or the grid itself. Additionally, you can link or control these large consuming loads by checking the battery state of charge. And in this sense, you can reserve some power on your battery for your actually the most critical loads that you actually don't want any power interruptions to. So the 3 modes are actually critical in the ESG2 installation: power switching mode, and which is manual, time mode, and the backup load control, which focuses or takes note of the battery SoC. Apart from that, ESG2 actually took note of the GoodWe company took note of the installations or microgrid systems. And in this sense, when you're actually installing the ESG2 inverter, you have an option of integrating the ESG2 with the generator. And in this sense, the generator can actually be switched on automatically from the ESG2. Either you can choose an automatic switching off the generator via the internal relay switches of the inverter, or you can switch on the generator manually, and the inverter itself will work seamlessly with the generator to reduce your fuel consumption. In terms of backup overload, and yes, I did mention this before in the ESG2 datasheets, the inverter can give a maximum of 10 kVA or 10 kilowatt continuously when grid is available. In this sense, you can get 5 kVA from the grid and a surplus 5 kVA from the PV system or the battery itself, giving you a total of 10 kVA output from the inverter. And once the grid fails, you have an option, or the inverter is capable of, does support a maximum of 10 kVA power draw from the battery backup itself, 10 kVA power, but then you will be limited to a maximum of 10 seconds. This is just to support 10 seconds is actually a very broad or wide window. This gives time for your inrush loads to switch on and go back to their normal operating power. And in this sense, your hybrid installation is not interrupted with generation. It continues producing seamlessly. One more thing to note is that the ESG2 backup solution gives you an option of expanding your battery storage. So the ESG2, you can connect, let's say the minimum you do is a single Linksomio battery, but then you can parallel increase your battery storage up to 6 pieces of the Linksomio. A single piece is 5.4 kilowatt. Now, if you expand up to 6 pieces, you have the capability of installing up to 32.4 kilowatt hour of Linksomio battery. In terms of PV overloading, the ES Unique has the 50% DC overloading when you're installing the solar PV strings. And this is quite important when you want to increase your self-consumption, increase your generation of the PV installation. Take, for example, a 5 kilowatt rated ESG2. The inverter can output total of 5 kVA or 5 kilowatt on the AC side to support the 5 kilowatt AC load. And at the same time, the surplus power, which was overloaded on the DC side of the string, can be used to directly charge the battery itself. So in this sense, technically the inverter is giving you a constant of 7.5 kilowatt hour, 5 kilowatt to the AC and 2.5 kilowatt charging the batteries. The 5 kilowatt ES Unique, if you do a 50% overload, will give you a 7.5 kilowatt DC. Taking an example for 6 kilowatts, you can do a maximum of 9 kilowatt DC, kilowatt peak DC. ES Unique told you it is an open, uses an open protocol. And in this sense, we are compatible with various third-party manufacturers. And on top of the line, we are compatible with our own manufactured battery called the Linksomio. And various benefits come with using the Linksomio battery. I will talk about this later on. But then, yes, we do encourage flexibility in terms of battery installation. So other battery third-party manufacturers such as LG, BYD, Pilontech, Dynas, and many more are actually compatible. These are low voltage batteries in yes, they are compatible with the ESG2 inverter. Next in line is to focus into the low voltage battery system that the ESG2 uses. And in this sense, we'll focus on the GoodWe lithium phosphate battery, which is called the Linksomio series, which comes with a number of key features. And to begin with, a single unit or a single piece of Linksomio battery is actually 5.4 kilowatt hour. And you can scale up around these batteries to give you a maximum of 32.4 kilowatt hour installed on a single ESG2 inverter. The Linksomio ET is a low voltage battery, so voltage operation between around 40 volts. And during the scaling up, Linksomio actually has a module auto recognition integrated within, so no dial setting required for the scaling up or expansion of your battery system. The battery itself has the capability of doing remote diagnosis and update of its firmware and communication protocols. And at itself, it uses the safety or takes note of the safety features that is required for the lithium phosphate standards. And it does check its voltage and does auto under voltage reboot in terms of emergency cases of too much discharge of the battery. It is an IP65 level. Yes, now you can really install it indoor or outdoor. The IP65 is regardless of the top cover. We'll open up the battery panel in the upcoming slides. Now, why did we choose the lithium phosphate battery, lithium phosphate technology for the Linksomio battery? Well, there are many factors which we actually took note of. And in this sense, we took note of the performance, the high performance that we want to achieve, the higher safety, the higher specific power and energy, the affordable cost, and actually a very longer lifespan. And you can see that the metal, the design casing that we chose for the Link Sawmill is actually a metal case, metal cell. And this gives you a lifespan of over 20 years with an affordable cost. This is in comparison with the lithium carbonate and the nickel cadmium technology, which are actually cheaper, moderately cheaper, but then the lifespan is very short, up to 5 years. So this is why we actually took note or focus on the lithium phosphate technology, which gives you a higher safety and a longer lifespan of operation. And taking note that the ESG2 is compact and actually not that heavy, it's quite light compared to the volumes of other batteries. The Link Sawmill is capable of doing ground-mounted and wall-mounted application. In this sense, when I mentioned that we do have a top cover. Now, on the right side, you see that the top cover of the Link Sawmill has been removed, and it does have handles to ease on the lifting and the mounting of either choice, ground or wall mounted. And yes, the communication cables and the power cables are actually plug and play. The battery itself, Link Sawmill battery, comes with a breaker, DC battery breaker. Actually, it's IP67 rated, and many other features that actually make it quite easy to install. It comes with a fixing bar for the power cables and communication cable to prevent any loose or movement of the power cables and the communication cable that may prove very distracting or interrupt the generation of the digital operation of the battery. In terms of convenience, Link Sawmill comes with a snapshot, or gives you a snapshot overview of its battery status. This you can observe through the front part of the Link Sawmill battery. You have the SOC indicator, and the switch button is also integrated with an LED. Now, a combination of the LEDs on the SOC indicator and the switch button will give you the status of the battery, whether it's charging, discharging, or in a full state, communication issues. We can talk about this later on, how you can actually see or interpret these LED indications. Convenience is also quite easy when you use your phone. So GoodWe has SEMS. We have two softwares, SEMS Portal and the SolarGo app. Either of these applications give you an access toward the real-time operation of the battery, or in case you want to draw historical data of the battery operation, then you actually get the chance to do this as well. So easing or making it convenient for operation and maintenance. In terms of cost, it's actually cost efficient. Why would I say this? Because, well, from the build design of the Link Sawmill, we didn't integrate any fans. Fans are actually failure points in terms of battery designs. The IP level of Link Sawmill is 6.5, so no dust ingress or water ingress. It's actually a deep cycling battery. And yes, because it uses GoodWe protocol, you can't do remote control of the battery itself remotely. So the charging, discharging of the battery can be controlled remotely. Apart from that, you can do remote firmware updates. Well, updating the communication firmware, updating the power firmware. All this can be done either locally outside, or for ease or convenience, you can do this remotely as well through the SEMS portal. And yes, the Link Sawmill does incorporate a smart temperature control. And in this sense, it monitors the charge discharge just to ensure that the cell temperature is actually balanced in either of the working, charging or discharging modes. Safety is actually a critical issue in batteries, particularly the lithium phosphate batteries or any lithium batteries. And GoodWe actually took note of this and integrated various levels of IP protection and system protections. Now, in terms of IP protection, I mentioned that the Link Sawmill is IP65. And various designs are incorporated to ensure the IP65 is achieved with or without the top cover. Now, take an instance without the top cover. The communication cables have IP65 rated plugs, so no dust or water ingress. The breaker itself, it's even higher rated, IP67, no water or dust ingress to the battery itself. On the power cables, the power plugs are actually on a Highland power connectors, so water levels can't really build up or rise up to seep into the power terminals. And yes, in this sense, the outer surrounding area has drainage channel and a drainage outlet to prevent any water accumulation of the top or the upper part of the battery. Now, these are very stringent measures to ensure the IP protection is up to the standards and your warranty is not actually breached or void. In terms of system protections, GoodWe has incorporated a pre-charge algorithm within the Link-SOMU battery. And apart from that, we have an overcurrent and short circuit protection level and component fault protection. Temperature monitoring of the battery itself, we talked about the cells balancing, temperature balancing. And yes, for the high and low temperatures, also monitor to ensure it's actually operating within the stipulated temperatures. Over voltage and under voltage is actually monitored, or the protection level are integrated to prevent any battery failures. And we do incorporate the auto black start function in the Link-SOMU battery as well. It is apart from the various awards that Elvis has presented before me, Link-SOMU actually comes with various certifications. This we are UN certified for safe transportation of the battery, and we are up to standard with the IEC standards, IEC 62 operation standard and safety in terms of power utilization. So these are some of the key features that Link-SOMU come with. Now we will dive deeper to check and get to know the technical parameters of the Link-SOMU battery, apart from knowing it is an IP65 level. Now, technically, a single piece of Link-SOMU mentioned before holds an energy of about 5.4 kilowatt hour of stored energy. Yeah, usable 4.8. The technology used is lithium phosphate. Yes, and it is a low voltage, 48 to 57 volts. Charging, discharge, 50 amps, 0.5 C rated, and communication through CAN, which is the most reliable in terms of battery communication. Compact and easier to mount. So a single piece will be weighing up to 57 kg. So 2-3 people can actually easily lift this battery for wall mounted or positioning for the ground mounted applications. In terms of operating temperatures, we see that it's actually very broad, from -10 all the way to positive 50 degrees Celsius. Well, in Africa, this is quite broad. So yeah, you are sure that you're actually working within the operating temperatures. Humidity level is actually under 95%, or 10 to 95%. IP level, IP65, you do indoor, outdoor, still okay. Nothing, no impact, no negative impact on the battery operation. Flexibility in terms of mounting, wall mounted for areas that's, well, you would want any or any access or anything to be accumulated under the battery, so wall mounted. You can also do ground mounted, any depending on your preference. So yes, I did mention we are certified. We do meet various standards, the UN standard for transportation. We have the safety operation standard, this IEC. So various certifications are actually present with the Link-SOMU battery. Now, in terms of battery overview, how does the battery actually look like? Well, on the left, front side of the battery, you will see the SOC LED and the battery switch for switching on and off the battery. The battery switch also comes with an LED. Mention that the synchronization of both the SOC LED and the battery switch will give you the status of the battery. And on the top part, this is where you actually interact with the battery in terms of terminations or protections. The Link-SOMU comes with its own integrated battery breaker. We have plug-ins, plug and play terminals for both the power cables and the communication. drainage channels to prevent water accumulation, and we do provide a fixing bar to ensure that the power cables and communication cables stay in place to prevent any miscommunication or any failure in communication or operation of the battery. IP65, I mentioned this before, with or without the top cover. So you're actually assured of the warranty of the operation of the battery itself. Now, what do you see when you unboxing the links for new battery? Well, in terms of unboxing, yes, the GoodWe box comes very well packaged. And yes, talked about the overview, the terminals at the top, pristine design, very sleek, very warm colored, no need to hide the battery itself. Now, in terms of accessories, you do get various, it's a one-stop solution. So you get a wall mounting bracket, expansion plugs, anti-damping to prevent any vibrations or shaking of the battery. We have the unfennel plugs for clicking easy plug and play of the power cables. We have plugs for grounding. We have the terminal resistor for communication termination, end line. We have wire harnesses fixing the bar cables and communication. Various accessories just to ensure that once you purchase the battery, no need for any extra BOQs or any extra expenses to incur during the installation process. Now, how do you mount the Linksommu? Well, part of the accessories is the mounting bracket, and mounting should not be, well, the level of mounting should also be taken note of. Now, GoodWe has came up with the design, the mounting bracket to incorporate the spirit level. Now, with this level, you actually assure that the position or how you mount your bracket is actually horizontal and not tinted in any way. Now, this is actually very useful in terms of positioning your battery. Once the bracket is mounted, lifting the battery should not be that difficult. The battery is actually a single piece, 57 kilograms, 2-3 people should be able to lift it up. Now you lift, hook it, and it's already in place. The only thing remaining is just to install the anti-damping plugs, and then the battery will be already secured onto the wall. Taking note of the spacing, yes, this is just for heat dissipation. So yes, with every manual, you get to ensure that the spacing is adhered to, as shown on your left-hand side. Not really that difficult, but yes, it's quite important. Termination of the power plugs, power cable is easy. The part of the accessory are the unfennel lugs, so no need of buying any extra lugs or something. Just purchase of the cable. Crimping is easy using the hydraulic crimping tool. And once this is crimped and ready, then plugging is actually easy because what you just do is just press it in, and then yes, as you see on the screen display in front of you, you press and wait for the click sound, similar to the MC4s, press and wait for the click sound. When you're disconnecting, similarly, no need of cutting the cable or doing some previous ways of disconnecting. Just press on the left side, you have something looking like a button. Press that and lift, and the cable will be disconnected from the battery. Well, apart from you should, before disconnecting, ensure that the battery is actually off. Now, in terms of battery communication, Linksommu uses the CAN protocol. So the CAN protocol, as most of you installers or as you know, uses the RJ45 jack. And with GoodWe standards, we use the pins 4 and 5 for the CAN high and low signal communication. So this is actually a very common pin configuration. So this gives us the compatibility or ease in compatibility with the other third-party batteries. Now, yes, Linksommu uses the same, ensuring the compatibility with the ESG2 inverter. Communication-wise, it is easy. Mentioned its CAN protocol with RJ45. Once you plug in, uses the daisy chain loop. So you connect the communication of BMS from the inverters, BMS to the battery PCU. And the remaining terminal, since it is a CAN protocol, you have to connect the terminating resistor. The terminating resistor, no need to purchase it, comes as an extra accessory of the battery. So once the cable is connected, the other port needs to be connected to a terminating resistor. And you're actually through with the communication cable termination, plug and play scenario. So this is actually how the terminating resistor looks. So this is plugged on the other end of the remaining communication cable port. RJ45 jack already pre-wired with the terminating resistor inside. Easy, plug and play. Fixing the cable, mention we have a fixing bar. This is to restrict movements of the cable, preventing any or any accidental unplugging of the cable and any emergencies or accidents, as you may know. So keeping the cables fixed in position, this prevents any accidents in case that happens. Once this is fixed and in place, you install the cover, the top plastic cover, and it all slots in perfectly. And yes, the whole installation will be neat and clean. Easy to display, no need to hide the whole installation. One more important installation requirement is to ground your battery. So GoodWe has everything needs to be neat and clean. So on the top part of the battery, where you'll be doing all your termination, is where any kind of termination is done, all in one phase. So your grounding cable will also be terminated at the top side in the cover. So fix this before any switching on of the battery or the inverter before the commissioning process. Ground your battery, ground your inverter, ensure all are in the levelized grounding system. And once you install the cover, the installation becomes neat. And once you're done with the battery termination, communication and power cable termination, properly mounted using the spirit level on the mounting bracket, now you have to step into the battery commissioning. And this is quite easy. So first step, well, the battery breaker is off. So yeah, please ensure it is off. Recheck the battery cable termination. Ensure the battery cable use minimum 25 square. And these are all standard and easy features of installing the links on the battery. This is all preparation of commission. And once all this is checked, well, the first thing is to switch on the battery breaker. Next thing, you switch on the battery switch, and it takes 5 seconds to short pressing to power it on. And if you want to power it on now, the battery switch is what you press and hold for 5 seconds, and the links on your battery will be switched off. A single press to power on the battery, a long press up to 5 seconds to power off the battery. Takes you a minimum of less than 30 seconds to get the system on and running. Commissioning is easy. Mentioned GoodWe has its own commissioning software called the SolarGo. Now through SolarGo, you actually will be commissioning the battery through the inverter itself. It's an all-in-one, simple, fully integrated commissioning style. So accessing the battery through the inverter itself. No need to use any two softwares to commission the battery and the inverter. So during the commission of the inverter, one of the steps will be choosing your batteries. So you choose the links on your battery, choose the number of pieces, and you're done with that. Complete the steps, and the battery is actually commissioned. Snapshot of the battery status. Mentioned on the front side, we have the SOC LEDs, and we have the battery switch LED. Now, this is how they look like. SOC on the left, battery button indicator with an LED, is actually a switch with an LED on it. And yeah, normal operation, green light. Bad operation is red. So green light can be when the battery is on standby. That is, you are still switching it on. And once it's working, it's also green. And it still stays green when it's alerting you whether it's charging from the inverter or discharging to support your loads. Still remains green. Red lights usually bad. Now this is a snapshot of what you expect to see when you're on the LEDs. So yes, with the manual, you get to see various ways, various scenarios of LED light scenarios. And this gives you no need of software or such, just visual interpretation of of the battery status through the SOT LEDs and the battery switch LEDs. It's actually quite fast and easy to use. And yes, it brings us to the reason why we actually propose this webinar. The webinar is actually to inform the Africa market about the importance of choosing the ESG2 hybrid inverter and choosing the Lynx home battery. Well, ESG2 is an open protocol system, so yes, you have mentioned we are compatible with other third-party batteries, but there are some pros and cons of using third-party batteries. Now, if you're focusing on the GoodWe combo, GoodWe inverter, GoodWe battery, well, you have seen the physical or the overview of the two products, the ESG2 and the Lynx on. The design entailed in these products are actually harmonious, and they are taken inspired by modern styles, making them quite exquisite for normal installations. Residential can do the installation on your living room, in open spaces, and the display of our products is actually quite aesthetic. So it actually integrates with the wall, all the lighting, the colors of the wall, with the neat installation. The cables are covered, terminals are covered, still maintaining the high IP levels, IP65, IP67. Warranty is not impacted, everything operating well. Harmonious design is actually the key feature in our systems. Apart from that, the GoodWe systems actually supports a full remote system update. Now, you want to update your inverter proper firmwares, communication and power, you want to update the battery firmwares, all this can be done in one go. So you access the inverter and you'll access the battery through the inverter, and you can update this. This is in comparison with when you're doing third-party lithium batteries with ESG2. What you'll notice is that you'll use the SolarGo software to commission your inverter. You'll use it to update the inverter firmwares. But then when it comes to the battery, you'll have to use the third-party software. And well, I'll come to mention this in the upcoming slide. When you're doing this update of the firmwares, you can't do it remotely. You'll have to go there locally to do this. And this is actually quite inconvenient when you're doing the third-party battery system compared to using the Lynx or new battery. Apart from that, you can do remote diagnosis using the GoodWe ESG2 and the Lynx or new battery. All these are complement themselves. The two products complement themselves, and they give you a chance to remotely diagnose both without any data missing. So troubleshooting is actually quite easy when you're using the GoodWe combo, ESG2 and Lynx on you. When you compare it with the third party, then yes, limited data for the gotten from the battery itself. Not all backend data are available to the inverter. So some of them you'll have to be forced to do a local visit to the site to get any backend data, to get the state of the battery, troubleshooting and all this locally in terms of need. But when you take GoodWe, you can do all this remotely at the comfort of your home or the office and do all the system troubleshooting and remote diagnosis. Simple and easy is a key feature within GoodWe. All our products are simple to install, easy to configure. I mentioned it's a single software to commission the inverter, ESG2, and the Lynx new battery. So one app commissioning the whole system, nothing with added steps and such. Less than 30, 20, I think it's actually 22 minutes doing the whole installation and commission. A minute or 5 minutes max tops to do a commissioning of the GoodWe system using the GoodWe combo. ESG2 links on you. Comparing this with the use of third-party batteries, use of another app, establish communication with the other third-party app, establish communication between the third-party battery and the GoodWe ESG2 inverter takes time. So yes, pros and cons, as I mentioned before. Better use ESG2 with Lynx home new battery. Quite easier, simple, and easy configuration. We did know that the battery and the inverter are actually a one-stop solution. One-stop in the sense that we do provide various accessories that other third-party manufacturers offer in the market. Take, for example, the inverter itself. It comes with a smart meter and clamp CTs. No need to do any other additional battery purchase, smart meter purchase and CTs. Takes quite a time to establish all this. It's pre-wired in this case. And when you take the Linksome battery itself, it comes with cables, comes with plugs, comes with terminating resistance. It comes with mounting brackets. The mounting bracket has a spirit level. This all is actually focusing on a one-stop solution. Everything becoming a plug and play. Some of our products pre-wired. This is actually easing the time, the design or the development of the BOQ, easing the installation time, making everything fast and easy to execute. In terms of reliability, well, we assure you that the GoodWe, both the GoodWe inverter and the GoodWe batteries are taken through very stringent and stringent tests, very tough tests, if I may mention. The inverter itself, both of them taken through a protocol compatibility test, takes some time. Cycling charge discharge tests, black start test, short current test, post check. All these tests are actually undertaken when you're using between the GoodWe inverter and the GoodWe battery. Now, take a note of using a GoodWe battery and a GoodWe inverter and third-party battery. Well, there are developments that the third party does. Well, not most of these are not really put into synchrony. So yeah, in terms of compatibility tests and all this, it is better suited to choose a GoodWe combo. Good, that is the ESG2 and the Linksome. And yes, when you take the ESG2 inverter and the Linksome battery, everything is now under GoodWe. So yes, the service will be provided, all the service will be provided by GoodWe. In terms of pre-sales design, then we can provide you all the documentations of the inverter, all the documentations of the battery. Apart from documentation is in terms of certificates, test reports, warranties, manuals, data sheets, all these can be provided by the GoodWe support. So in terms of pre-sales, in terms of after sales, yes, all the service can also be provided by GoodWe. So Elvis is the contact for the after sales. Patrick, I will be the contact for the pre-sales activities. And all this can be done in one package. Taking comparison when you're choosing a third-party battery. This splits the service provision. GoodWe will only be limited to provide assistance with the battery, with the inverter, and you'll be forced to ask for assistance with the third-party provider. There is actually some disconnection between the two service provision. A very seamless service provision by one manufacturer compared to two different manufacturers. Well, we do take a single manufacturer. Also, in terms of warranty, a single manufacturer is actually the better option. So GoodWe ESG2 and the GoodWe Linksome. Now, all this does summarize today's webinar. And yes, this is to put note that this is a webinar focusing on the ESG2 single-phase hybrid battery residential solution. And in combination with the GoodWe Linksome battery. And yes, I think we're done with the presentation. I'm hoping to get some questions from you. Really quite anxious to get some questions from you, given that this is actually a best-selling product in Africa. So yes, Elvis, do we have any?
Yes, we have a question from Reinhardt. He's asking, why would you not wire up the earth cable on the AC output or backup of the inverter?
Why would we not wire?
The earth cable on the AC output or backup of the inverter.
Ground wire the earth cable on the AC output. But well, there are some times when you're doing installations in residential and they have the RCD breakers installed. When you do the wiring of the ground, well, is this wiring of the ground or linking the ground with neutral? Because on both terminals, we do have both live, neutral, and earth for the backup port and the on-grid port. So maybe the question can be fine-tuned to be why the ground is not linked with the neutral on the backup side.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case you're asking why the ground is not linked with neutral on the backup side, is because you might get some installers or some residents with an RCD breaker. When you link the two on the backup, that is the ground and the neutral, then it will trip this breaker. And actually, there's no point of doing any physical termination or external linking of these two, because through SolarGo, you have an option of linking it or activating this feature. The inverter internally can link the neutral and earth on the backup side. So yes, no need to, you can activate this by software, but do take note when you have an RCD installed at the grid-in camera, don't do this, the breaker will trip. Yes, any more questions?
Yes, we had a hand raised. Just check. Or perhaps if you have a question, please just raise up your hand, then you can unmute you.
Yeah. Well, I see a question on the cost of ESG2 and Link's battery. Gerishon, I believe that's Kenya. Then we can link you to our local distributor. In terms of cost, we do the first option, the easiest option is to contact our local distributor. So we can give you contacts. We have 4 local distributors. Currently, ESG2 in links from you are locally available. So can direct you to the local distributor and you can get the latest prices of the GoodWe products.
I think Prince has raised his hand. Titus, any of you can unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, so in terms of cost, that was for Kenya. So we do have local distributors spread across Africa. We have PP Engineering on the west. We have various local distributors, Utility on the south, various, just to mention. So yes, in terms of prices, the best way is to use your local distributors for pricing purposes. But yes, our products are available locally across Africa.
Prince,
So
please
on
ask
the
your question. You can unmute.
I see we have questions from the Q&A.
Patrick, I'll still answer a question. Do we have a sole distributor in Uganda? Yes, we have some distributors. We can share the contacts with you. Also, we'll share our contacts so that in case you have any specific requirement, we'll share it also with you. Same applies to Titus. I'm not sure if you're in Kenya. Just share where you are and we'll share the contacts of the local distributor.
Sure.
Prince? Please unmute.
I can't pick the boxes one one. You say, oh, hi now, I can in Hello?
Yes, Prince.
Okay, I'm a bit late for the meeting. I'll have to ask some few questions. Can we get the presentation document of what you just present to us? And secondly, is it possible? Because I've installed some of your inverters before, and I think through the net I was able to get some help and those stuff. So, do you have any representative in Ghana here that in case you have any problem when installing some of these inverters, they can assist us in doing the configuration and maybe assisting doing the installation.
Yes, Prince, that's in terms of the webinar material we will share, as Zoom has captured your email, so we'll share the same via email. And for after sales support, yes, I'm the after sales engineer, so I will share my contacts also, and I'll also share how to reach the service team in case you have any issues in terms of installation.
Okay. By the way, are you people from Ghana or maybe another country? Because now I'm in Ghana. I don't know where.
Patrick and I are based in Kenya, but we do support East and West Africa.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You see, I would like to touch on one thing. I've personally installed this GoodWe inverter, 50 kilowatts, and then 10 kilowatts before. But it's quite good. But you see, this time a lot of people are going for solar. But if you can do something with your price, and the price is killing us. I don't know.
Okay, I think
if you can do something about your price, I think.
Okay. Our sales engineer is also on the call, so he's heard your request. He will look at the price with the local distributor, PP Engineering in Ghana.
Yes.
Elvis, we have Titus as well.
That's fine.
Okay, Titus, go ahead. Titus.
Well, there is a question from Henry. What is the DOD for the Lynx battery? The DOD for the Lynx HOMU is 90%.
Patrick, Reinhard has a follow-up question. Perhaps you can just read it through.
Come again?
Reinhard had a follow-up question, but I will answer Adamu's question. Yes, we are planning to have an off-grid inverter, and we are planning to have it tested in Ghana very soon. Patrick, perhaps you can choose one question to answer, then the rest you can continue the discussion. Maybe via email we will share our contacts.
Let me choose the last one. Getting a clarification question. We have ground and neutral connected together, boundary box in South Africa, ground and neutral. But according to GoodWe manual, it indicates that the ground wire of the AC output inverter should not be linked. Therefore, yeah, I mentioned before that this is in case you're doing installation in residence that have an RCD. Now, for SMAs, I'm not sure how they do their controls, but what we've noted from GoodWe is that from when you're linking the ground and neutral on the backup side, by default, on the inverter does not link the ground and neutral. You can only do it externally. But when you're doing externally, do note that if you have an RCD and you link the ground and neutral, the RCD will trip. So with GoodWe, we have an option of linking the ground and neutral through the SolarGo software. But then do note, when you do link the ground and neutral, what you're actually doing is the RCD won't be able to, it will think there's a ground, there's no feedback, there's no return to the grid. So it will trip. So not sure how SMA does it, but that is the how GoodWe does its installation. So we'll escalate, give you a chance to escalate your questions to our emails. So yes, if, the webinar will be closing right now. So thank you for the attendance. We're looking forward for the upcoming webinars as well. So yes, do look into have a request from our various distributors across Africa. And yes, enjoy the GoodWe products as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you and goodbye.